right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in NorCal Sports Network. Another ball game for the Warriors, another win. They go to 7 wins in a row as they defeat the Knicks 97-94. Really tight game. Good game, and we'll get into it. Let us thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs, especially if you've got a personal injury situation. They specialize in that, so give Chapman Law Group a call, 415-613-9483, and let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, Lou. A pretty interesting game. It was kind of felt like the Warriors were in control, but then the Knicks would kind of come back, make it, a ball game, get it to within 2-3 points. And, the Warriors were able to prevail. Moses Moody continues to shine. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought tonight, to tell you the truth, this might have been the worst game the Warriors have played.
Yeah. As I finish my dinner, by the way, here.
Okay, so. Yeah, I'll just do a few things. I thought they were sloppy tonight. I never thought they were going to lose, but they sort of kept the Knicks in the game. I thought some bad passes. Just overall, it was just an average game by them. They know the Knicks are down last game of a road trip. And again, it's hard because neither team deserved to win because they both played bad in the second half. I mean, combined, I think it was 84 points. I mean, it was just hard. And I think tonight also tells the Western Conference how to beat the Warriors. And I think what that is try to get under the skin of a few guys and be very, very physical. Because the Knicks, the only way they're going to win right now, especially, with Brunson out, is they get really, really physical. And the Warriors' big problem is they weren't really sure how to handle it. Because I think this is the first time where a team's been really, really physical with the Warriors. And go ahead, Dan. And then I think the other thing is keep it below 100. So, I think this might have opened up, it's something that the Warriors are going to have to try to work on. I think, when you look at the Warriors tonight, too, without two players, again, I don't know what to say, but GP2, again, played great, was another spark. And then, again, Moody going. Because when you look at it, and I know when Dan gets back, we'll do it. The Warriors shot 33 for 83, 39%. This is at home. That's horrible. 3-pointers, 13 for 41. That's horrible. The best thing is they only had 9 turnovers, which kept them in the game. But, overall, hey, a win's a win. You're not going to play every game. I just thought tonight, since the trade, this might have been the worst. But what good teams do when you don't play your best at home, you find a way to win. And Dan, I think also what's amazing about this is the third game in probably like the last 8 where a last second shot. This one was Butler's 3-pointer. When you look at the final score, it might have been different. We've had this when the Warriors were in trouble and Curry hit that one to make it, instead of 17-14, they came back to win when they were on the road trip. It happened again, and then tonight. So, it really tells you got to play to the very last second of every single quarter in the NBA. So I thought, tonight, hey, a win's a win, but, it's just one of those things where,
when you play a Tom Thibodeau,
so good. Yeah.
Tom Thibodeau's teams are going to make you look a little, they're tough.
Yeah.
They're physical. They play tough defense.
Very physical.
Yeah. So,
and again, the other thing too is they do have a big man. So, he sort of dominated tonight, which is purely understandable because the Warriors really don't have a center. But this is going to be the trouble when the Warriors do go to the playoffs, like if they have to face Joker first round. It's hard to beat these guys that are talented 4 out of 7. And it's the same way. When they don't have it, the Warriors have the advantage. So it's just something, I wanted to bring up, because their center, he dominated tonight. He just didn't really have much help. Hart was 0 for 7 from the field, and then I don't know if you saw during the timeout, he got his ass blasted by the coach. But, hey, overall, like I said, hey, good Saturday night for the Warriors, 97-94 win. And you got to take them now because it seems like everybody with the Warriors with either a game behind or ahead of them, everyone's winning.
Yeah.
So the Warriors just got to keep doing it.
Tough in the West. Let's bring in the great big Frank Red. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing fantastic. Good evening, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good.
What was your thoughts?
Hey, Frank, how are you?
What's up?
You're a Knicks fan and
Right.
and a Warrior fan. So you got a chance to watch the game. Give us your lowdown on the game.
And Frank, I don't know if you heard what I said. Did you hear what I said?
Give me a quick recap. I heard some of it. Go ahead.
No, I just thought tonight was a little bit different for the Warriors because the Knicks were so physical that it really took the Warriors out of the game.
Right.
And their big man, of course, dominated inside and outside. And just, I think, the last game of a road trip for the Knicks, the Warriors, what's amazing, and me and Dan have talked about this, in the last 8 games, one shot has really made a difference. And I'm just talking about late second 3-pointers, with Kerr hit 2, one when we were down 17 to make it 14. We came back. He hit another one. And then this one, you sort of forget about it, but you forget that that Butler hit that 3 at the end of the quarter. And when you look at the final 3-point game. So I just wanted to let you know. So why don't you tell us what you thought about the game, please, Frank? Sorry about that.
I thought it was a very, very competitive game. I was proud of my Knicks. They played a tough game without their best player. They played the style of basketball I think is representative of New York, which is tough, physical basketball. The difference in the game to me was just a slight basketball IQ advantage of the Warriors. And you kind of talked about those nuanced plays that the Warriors got tonight that equated to about anywhere from 8 to 10 points. The Knicks really didn't get those baskets. Everything the Knicks got, they had to earn. It was really hard. And that's when I look at this Warrior team. And we talked about the past couple of days. They can win a championship because, again, you cannot underrate the IQ of basketball, particularly in the half court. And, the other thing that was key, we talked about the emotional part of the game. The one thing that I love about Quentin Post tonight, you guys saw, he had a couple of tough plays. He was expressionless, which lets me know that somebody's talking to him, his teammates or his coaches, and he is receptive to that type of education. He played a tough-ass game, and you guys have been talking about his ability to kind of mix it up a little bit. I was very, very impressed with him tonight. Moody is coming on. Kuminga played extremely well. This team is going to be tough for everybody. They really are.
I agree, Frank. It's you talk about the IQ part of the game. When Jimmy came over, there was a lot of discussion of him possibly coming to the Warriors. And, what was going on in Miami, I was getting my views of what was happening with Jimmy and separating what he was doing off the court versus what he's done on the court, and was thinking, don't do it. Too much trouble,
Right.
And what we're seeing is a happy Jimmy, although he may not be a stat light him up guy for this team. He may not be, he may not even be a top 25 player, because you figure 12 guys go to the All-Star game in each conference, right? That's 24. He may not even be an all-star when it comes to selection and all that, because of his game it's not like, he's not lighting up stats, but man, he is probably a top 10, maybe even higher when it comes to the game. of understanding. I mean, the Warriors have three of them. The Warriors have Green and Butler and Curry that are all older vets that know how to get into situations. You know, I'm thinking about that last layup when Draymond went night-night to put him up 6 with 25 seconds to go. He had to shoot because he had the ball at the top of the circle with like 3-4 seconds on the shot clock. There was no time. Once he started to drive, there was no time to kick it out to anybody. And he went to the hole with authority. He decided, you know, he put that left hand off the backboard. You could hear the little smack. He went up. He wasn't laying it up like I'm going to release it from 3 feet. I'm going all the way and putting my hand on the board so I know that ball goes in. And that was a big play. And that was a smart play.
It was a brilliant play. Let me tell you, here's a small nuance that I had to learn, and I think a lot of players learn when they start to make inside. When you know you're going to get hit, just like in boxing, there's an inclination to close your eyes. But the really good boxers, they don't close their eyes. They absorb the punch, and they become offensive-oriented, looking for the counter. So when you go inside and you have the ball and your eyes are on the rim, you take it for granted that you're going to get hit, and that's okay. So Draymond releases the ball like it's supposed to above his shoulders, and his eyes are focused on that box. So he absorbs the contact, and more times than not, he makes the shot when he has to. So that little thing, when guys inside are missing a lot of shots, is because their eyes is not on the rim, and they're anticipating getting hit. That's it. It's simple.
Yes. And I've got to make a point here to Steven Ortega in the chat because he continues to trying to tell me the Warriors, Dan and Lou, Warriors are going to the NBA Finals. Like, let me just show you my bet, Steven. Can you see that?
I love it.
This was done when their odds were $10 to win 1,000. $10 to win 1,000 done on April. Wait a minute. When was the bet on that? I don't know, but it was, you know what the odds are now, Steven? It's 15 to 1 instead of 100 to 1. 15 to 1. I got it at 100 to 1. So you're preaching.
Dan, you're not going to take the buyout of $29.26.
Yeah, look,
you're going to let it ride.
$78.75 the buyout they're offering me for 10. FanDuel's getting nervous.
I bet they are.
So I jumped on it. I thought they were going to get KD, and I grabbed it before the odds changed, and then they ended up doing Butler. But dang, I mean, it's we take a look at the standings, guys. They're getting interesting because, like you said, Lou, everybody keeps winning in the West. Right now, though, the Warriors are only 2 games behind the Lakers, as the Lakers keep losing because they had a back-to-back they had to go from Milwaukee to Denver. And so the Warriors are 3.5 games out of third. They keep winning. Who knows? But just a week ago, they were 5 behind the Lakers. Now they're 2. Yeah. So, and the Lakers still have a tough schedule, guys. If you look at the Lakers schedule, I'll show it to you right here. Oops. Can you guys see the Lakers schedule right there? If I is it showing now?
It's above it. Yeah, there it is. You got to go a little bit further down.
All right, I just want to make sure I'm not looking at our screen. Okay, so here you go. They lost last night at Denver. Played a tough game. I mean, that's a tough game to go to Denver after Milwaukee
And they led by, I think, 22 in the first half, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sunday they are home to Phoenix. They should win that game, but you never know. Phoenix has to win every game just to get into the play-in. San Antonio, that's an easy one. No De'Aaron Fox, no Wimbiana. I mean, But then they're home to Denver again and Milwaukee. They got the same back-to-back. This time it's at home. Right. But I would think they'll lose one of those two.
Everything's predicated on when Luka and LeBron comes back. If those guys are not playing,
is Luka out too?
He didn't play last night.
Oh, probably a rest day, right?
Yeah. Well, not it said it said the hamstring thing, but I think he's going to play tomorrow. I think he's going to play tomorrow. He has to play tomorrow, right?
Right. This is going to be a big game right here, April 3rd. What is that? 2.5 weeks away. A little over.
And Dan, I told you they're going to be in the play-in. I think with LeBron, again, I don't know how serious his injury, because it's weird that they said he's out definitely 2 weeks. They don't really have a center. And if you look at their schedule, they have another 4-game road trip, and then they play the back-to-back against Oklahoma City. And it's not like it's the last 2 games of the season where Oklahoma's going to be sitting people. I mean, they got a chance to probably go like 2-8, and with everybody winning around them, you're going to just drop.
Maybe so. Deloading, who's been on the show as a guest several times, says it wasn't a hamstring issue. It was rest. Okay,
good.
So
all right.
Deloading is, knows what's going on, following it pretty tightly. I would think it was rest because he played a lot of minutes the night before in Milwaukee. And for whatever reason, I guess maybe it was already planned as rest, because I was watching that game. J.J. Redick, he finally pulled him out with 4 minutes to go when Milwaukee was up by 20. But he was trying to get back into that game, probably knowing that Denver was going to be the tougher game, because Denver had just lost to somebody. They had lost, maybe it was Minnesota. Minnesota had beaten them on their home court pretty badly. So you're thinking Denver, is going to be raring to go. And the fact that they got down by 22 in the first half, wow. Nuggets just tied it against Washington with 5 seconds left. Oh, boy. Wow. Oh, wow. That's you'd like to see, it's going to be interesting how this whole thing pans out with the playoff schedule, because the Warriors, if they can get all the way to 4, you get home court advantage in that first round. I mean, it could be, you could have a Warriors-Lakers 4-5 matchup at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston seems to have picked it up, right? Haven't they won?
Yeah.
Let me look at
they're playing well. Yeah, they're playing very well.
They've won 6 in a row.
Houston, because Houston, it was their easier part of their schedule, but Houston is now 6 in a row. Wow.
Yeah, Dan, that's what I was saying. The Warriors, everyone's winning around them. The team behind them, Minnesota's won 7. The Warriors have won 7 in a row. The teams ahead of them, one has won 5 and 2. Houston's won 6 in a row. The Nuggets, it's just one of those things. Everybody on the upper echelon of the Western Conference are all winning.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we don't really talk about Oklahoma City because, they've all basically
they got it wrapped up. They got the number 1 seed.
But everybody else around them are winning. So it's, one of those things. You just got to make sure you don't have like a nice 3-game losing streak. You just got to be consistent, no long losing streaks, and health.
Yeah.
So Warriors have 15 games left, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The best they can do is 54 and 28. But if they can somehow get 49, even 50, I would think that will get them at least the 6th seed, maybe moves up. But because some of these teams are going to be playing each other. Like the Warriors still have a game with Houston. They have a game with the Lakers. They've got How many times do the Warriors have Denver? Is it once or twice?
I don't know. They play them Monday.
Let's see their schedule right here. Okay, here's the. Oops, too far. Okay, so the Warriors.
And Denver just lost. Washington won on a 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Really?
I love it.
Wow. Denver's had some struggles lately. Okay. Was that at Denver too?
It was, yes, sir.
Wow, they lost to Washington, one of the worst teams in the league.
I told you, I said a couple of days ago, Washington is one player away from being decent. They're going to be decent next year. They get one more player who can actually play. That's why Kuminga is going to break the bank. Because if you think that they wouldn't sign him to a restricted offer, he's going to, I mean, the Warriors literally cost themselves probably about $15 to $20 million on that Kuminga deal. Because he's probably going to get $40 million a year. Why wouldn't you pay him? If you are a struggling franchise with not a lot of stars, he's definitely a star before he even does anything on the court. I want to keep him, obviously. But from a financial standpoint, he's going to break the bank, man. He really is.
Yeah. Do you think Lacob will match it?
Ultimately, yeah. I think he will.
I think he will too.
Yeah, because he has trade clips. He has chips. And he wants to win. That team next year, even coming back with Curry being 37, Curry's already 37. This team is talented.
Yeah. Ultimately, you don't let Kuminga just walk for nothing because you can sign him and then trade him if you really don't want to pay the salary. You can get something back.
Listen, there was a gentleman today that hit me on Twitter, and he said something that was amazing to me. He implied that now this is internet hoopla stuff, but this guy seems like he kind of has his ear to the streets. All right, he comprised or he theorized a Kuminga for Jaylen Brown trade.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'd do that.
With the Celtics.
I'd do that.
Because of Boston's salary cap situation. You can't have two guys with $300 million contracts. Can't.
Warriors can. They just pay the penalty. And Lacob doesn't care.
Yeah, well, they don't have a guy. Well, no, they don't have a guy with a $300 million contract. They have the Warriors. They got Curry. They got Curry with a high salary. But, Jaylen Brown's contract is biting. That's incredible.
Wow.
So,
Steve Kerr is actually smiling again, and it's looking younger. Yeah, Steve's been on a good run lately. I just finished watching this great series, guys. I watched it last night, finished it Netflix. Court of Gold. Have you seen it, Frank?
No, is it good?
Oh, it's awesome.
Court of Gold.
Court of Gold on Netflix. It's about the 24 Olympics. Yeah. And they go into the
that's the Curry
rooms.
thing. Oh, yeah.
Oh, they talk to the French teams, the Canadian teams.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a documentary. It's actually produced by the Obamas, Barack and Michelle.
I love it.
And it's very well done. It shows Dylan Brooks sitting at his dinner table with his family talking, and you see
Devin Brooks.
No, Dylan Brooks of Canada.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, like he played for Team Canada. Yeah. I would tell everybody watching, if you guys go to Netflix, Court of Gold, and it's a 6-part series. They're all about 45 minutes each. I had watched parts 1 through 3 one night. So last night I got to watching 4. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'll go to 5. And then I'm like, it's almost 2. And I'm like, the hell with it. I'm up this late. I can't finish. Let me see the ending of this. Because you get to watch those, and you hear the whole thing with Curry, you see a lot of insight, some great interviews with KD, and yeah, it's really cool, really cool. But the Warriors' schedule, guys, they do have
back-to-backer.
Denver, Milwaukee, Toronto. Then they go on the road for.
And Dan, you saw that's back-to-back, right?
Yes,
The Denver Milwaukee game,
back-to-back. Yeah, the road trip, although it's 6 games, it's not a bad road trip in the sense you look at the travel. You go to Atlanta, then you have 3 days off. The bad part is they're going to be in Miami for a day or two, partying. Then they got a couple more days off before they go to another party city in New Orleans. And then you got San Antonio, Memphis, and then LA, but no back-to-backs. Now, if you looked at this road trip and you saw, we're going to be in Miami and New Orleans, a young team like the Houston Rockets, for example, that might be trouble but a Warriors team knowing that every game matters, they got veterans in there they're going to lock in. Mm-hmm. It's business trip, guys. It's a business trip. Maybe you have a little fun 2 nights before the game, but not the night before the game. So you get your partying in Miami done on the 26th of March on Wednesday, and then you get your stuff. Thursday's a day of recovery. Friday's back to business. Okay. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful on these trips because it's there's so much to do in these cities, and we know NBA and generally people in their 30s or 20s like the nightlife. So should be fun. But what's your they're now 11 games over 500, I believe. What's their record now? Is it 39? Or was tonight number 40? I can't.
No, they're 39 and 28.
Yeah, 39 and 28. Yeah. So they're 11 games over 500. What's your view on the next 2 games, Frank and Lou? They got
Go ahead, Lou.
Denver and then Milwaukee.
Well, I mean, I wish Denver would have won tonight. I don't like teams coming off a loss, and that'll be the first game of the road trip. I think, obviously they got to stop the Joker. And again, I don't know how healthy Denver is. Who knows? Denver maybe sat some people, because they've had 3 games in 4 days, one of those things. But, Denver's a team, when they're healthy, they can shoot. And then you have the Joker inside who basically can dominate. So I think it'll be a good test for the Warriors. I think, especially after coming off such a physical game, and really, their big man dominated tonight, and he had to, and he almost pulled off a win. So it'll be interesting to see, what the Warriors do because, this might be a preview of Denver. And, we got to sort of see, are we up to that stature? I mean, Denver is Denver, and I think it'll be a good thing. And then, hopefully, if we do beat Denver, we don't have a letdown against Milwaukee because Milwaukee's fighting for their lives. They're finally healthy. And, it's, I think it should be 2 very entertaining games. I'll just leave it at that.
Frank, what's your take on it?
I think if the Warriors reserve players continue to play as well as they're playing, the Warriors will win. Because that's been most impressive to me. Because, you look at tonight, Jimmy Butler intellectually had a brilliant game, but his numbers were pedestrian. But it was the other players and the pieces that Steve Kerr has at his disposal. For example, GP2 is having one of the best years he's had in 3 or 4 years. And and Murray has played better, but I'm visualizing Steve Kerr saying, GP2, go turn his water off. They haven't had that level of flexibility in past years. They've kind of found the sweet sauce for Buddy Hield. If he's making shots, he plays. If he don't, he's on the bench, and they don't miss him. So these are going to be tough games, but half-court execution to me is where the Warriors are really shining this year. At home, I like their chances. If they're playing at Denver, not as much. But I like them against Denver and Milwaukee simply because these games are going to be close, and it's going to come down to half-court execution. When I watch Milwaukee play, I see two players. I see Giannis and I see Dame. And if there's any slip up among those two guys, they generally don't win against good teams. So I like the Warriors' chances. I do.
Excellent. They've got if Pods comes back, I don't know if he's ready to play Monday or Tuesday, but if he's able to play, let's say Tuesday, that allows, maybe Steph takes the Milwaukee game as a rest game, unless it's a Tuesday night TNT game. I don't think, is it?
It probably is.
Yeah, you can't take a rest day on a nationally televised game. That's the NBA rules. But they could figure a way out, say the back tightened up, if they want him to rest, because the Warriors have the depth to go back to back where you can make guys, you shorten the minutes for guys that are going to play heavy minutes Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think Steph is going to play all of the meaningful games because he wants to. And because the reserves, again, are playing so well, Steph's minutes have actually gone down. So, he's probably playing around 33, minutes a game, 34, as opposed to the 38 dotlet that a lot of the Knicks have to play. So I think he feels fresh, man. I think he wants to get out there because he knows that he's a difference maker against these good teams. So, I think he's probably going to play, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Let me take a look at I'll pull up the box score from tonight, and we'll actually see what he hold on here. Let me pull that up. I'm curious to see the minutes played too. He seems to be pretty well set in a rotation now. Comes in about the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter and goes out at the third quarter, about 4 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jimmy stays in there, and then Jimmy gets a rest and comes back in with about the final 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, Steph played 35 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Jimmy, 33. I was out, and so I didn't see the beginning of the game. Why did Gee start tonight? Was it just a matchup thing or what?
I think physicality. I mean, he's a physical player, and Towns plays on the perimeter. So I think, and that was an area, again, that I observed from Quentin Post. I think that they were a little concerned about the emotional part of the game. He still got his run, but when he came in the game, he was stoic. He was all business, and he was more physical. So I think they were a little concerned about those two forwards, Anunoby, and even Big Cat, because the Knicks are innately physical, and I think that they wanted to set that tone. Guy Santos is a bit of an agitator, so I actually think it was a pretty interesting, small, good move by Kerr because it really set the tone for the Warriors.
Yeah, and you've noticed Steve Kerr has figured it out. If Buddy Ball is not working, he gets him out of there.
Yes, he does.
Buddy was 1 for 7 tonight, all 3-point attempts, and he only played 15 minutes, while Kuminga, who's just coming back, got 20. What's really nice is Kuminga's the first guy coming in off the bench, and he seems to be thriving right now just in the roles. I mean, he pretty much, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. That's nice to see in 20 minutes. I mean, that's a 10 assists if you factor in, closer to 40 points or 40-minute game. But Kuminga, they're going to ramp him up slowly, and he will probably be closer to the 30-minute mark as the season gets down to the final stages. And then I as long as it doesn't affect Moody's minutes. I mean, Moses Moody, I don't know, something about Moses Moody. I just like that guy. He's a very intelligent young kid who just is, he's kind of the kid if you had a daughter, you'd say, hey, Moses, this guy, I mean, he's just so polite.
Mm-hmm.
He's just well. I mean, I saw a thing on Moses Moody where he did a high school poem or something that was on TV, and he recited this whole poem. And he's just, you never see him lose his composure. He's just steady. And to me, Moses Moody is just continuing to blossom. And I think the Warriors, when you look at that draft, when they got both Kuminga and Moody, pick 7 and 14, then they got Moody locked up, and he's pretty relatively cheap for what they locked him up in,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so he's going forward. I don't know. I think the Warriors are kind of in. It feels a little bit to me, and I don't know if it feels this way to you guys, but it feels a little bit to me like their championship runs where they were strength in numbers, and it all changed with Jimmy, because I think they were probably going to finish 10th without Jimmy. Maybe they would have got to 9. I don't think they would have got any higher than that.
No, because everything was hard again.
Yeah.
It's easy now because when they get the ball to the mid post to Jimmy, he is almost as adept at passing as Draymond in the half court. So when you have literally 3 point guards on the court at the same time, and 2 of them are forwards, I'm going to tell you something. And this just drove me crazy as a Knicks fan. The Warriors, this was a nip and tuck game, but they really got their sea legs on the most simplest of plays when Cat would not come up and hedge when the forwards were setting the pitch, when Curry hit those 2 straight 3-pointers. That was the ball game. And those are simple, basic plays that the Warriors executed and the Knicks couldn't execute. And Curry got 2 shots wide open under 0 stress. And I think that changed the complexion of the game. Mark Graves says, why are the Warriors missing a lot of layups? Again, I think they're anxious a little bit. And at the same time, like I said before, you got to concentrate. But we saw Moses Moody make a layup tonight that he never makes. When he was in the corner and he drove to the basket to put him up 4, he squeezed the ball between 2 defenders. He wouldn't make that play before. So,
are you talking about the play where he pivoted back and shot this 8-footer?
No. No. The one when he did the underhand layup off the glass.
Okay, yeah. That play toward the late in the fourth quarter, the one where Moody drove and then he pivoted back away from Towns and faded away. That was something of beauty. That was like, see, the importance of a jump stop. Something that, who's the guy that needs, it's Buddy Hield that doesn't understand, doesn't always play. He does some things out of control. That jump stop is it's the foundation, triple threat, right? I mean, that's the foundation of basketball.
It really is. That's it.
So, go ahead, Lou.
Hey, Frank, what I wanted to say, and something that I've noticed, I know he's only come back for a few games, but I really think Butler spoke to Kuminga, because tonight was a pure example of this. The refs were calling a game a certain way, right? The old Kuminga would have taken his 2 3-pointers, done this. If you notice tonight, he tried to get contact. He realized that Towns was literally in trouble. He was going right at him. And what I liked about him is he's quick enough. Take the ball to the hoop. He didn't shoot any 3-pointers. It only seemed like, he was 3 for 8, but they were all literally good shots. And when he does that, he's going to make the free throws. That's when he takes his game to another level, where he sees how the refs are calling it. I'm going to adapt my game to do this, because now what's happening is the average guy's going to say, oh, shit, he's on the roll. We got to maybe double him, and that gives Steph a wide open shot. Or maybe they forget about GP2, and he gets like an easy dunk. And I think it's really helped him in, where the average person, when he's out for 2 months, is going to sit there, come back, try to get in shape. But I think he really sat down with Butler and says, okay, listen, what can I do to take my game to another level? Because you can only ask Steph so many times, right? Different type of player, a guy that's proven winner too. And, hopefully this is a step in the right direction for him.
I mean, I like your thesis. I do. I think you're spot on. And he gets an opportunity to watch Jimmy Butler play. Because there was about 3 or 4 plays tonight in which there was contact that Jimmy Butler normally gets the call. He didn't get it tonight. He said 0 to the referee. He got off the floor and ran back down the court like a professional. And you're right. Just Kuminga's mannerisms on the court has to come from somewhere. So I would agree with you. I just think that he looks like a veteran player who teams have their eyes wide open now and go, whoa, this is the type of player that I want to pay, that I can trust. I think the Warriors are right there. They know they have a guy. Like, here's the thing. I had reservations ever conceiving Kuminga of being a 20-point scorer within the context of an offense. I don't have those concerns anymore. He looks like a guy who can score 20 to 25 points a game. I mean, the numbers say it, but how he plays says it also. He has a lot of balance to his game right now.
Absolutely. And about 3 weeks ago, they were talking to Steve Kerr, and they asked him the question, what do you want to see when Jonathan Kuminga, what do you want to see when he comes back? What do you want out of him? And he says, mimic Jimmy. Just watch Jimmy. He said, that's what we want him to do. And you're seeing that. He didn't take the 3-point shot. Jimmy doesn't take his shot. He looks and he'll take it. It's almost like when he takes it, it's like, whoa, he's actually taking one. Because if he's feeling it, he takes it. But Kuminga, as he learns that, and I guarantee you guys, and you guys brought up, Frank, that they have talked to Kuminga, and it's almost like, when somebody is training somebody, says, okay, you do what he does. Follow him. Just do whatever he does. I think the Warriors have said, look, this is what we envision you being, and you follow him. And in 3 years, you will be the leader of this team. You will be Jimmy Butler, when he's gone, when Jimmy's gone.
I mean, listen, man, I was watching those guys on the bench. Dude, you know how lucky these players feel to be playing for the Warriors in this organization? You talk about a dream job. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I would do whatever I could do to help my team win. You're playing with a top 5, top 10, all-time great player who's one of the all-time great teammates?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting that infectious joy. And that's why when KD came and the first year they won, it was either his first or second year, he says most fun he'd ever had on a basketball court because he was just hooping. That's all KD wanted to do. All the social media crap kind of just wore him out, and he just really wanted to hoop and play. And who better to play with than Curry? I mean, who plays like Curry ever? Have you seen? I mean, I don't know of one player, and I've been watching the NBA since the 70s, probably early 70s. How many years is that? We're talking over 50 years. I don't ever remember a player that he looks like he'd probably have fun if he wasn't even getting paid. He just seems like this is a playground game to him.
He sort of reminds me, Frank, of Magic when he had the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where he got everybody involved. He always had the smile. And, you couldn't tell if they won or lost, but when they were winning, boy, it was contagious. And I think that's really, when you really think about how Steph is. Yeah. And, the one great. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm thinking about Steph, just the overall, it's not just on the court during the game. It's the whole show he puts on pregame. It's all the 3-point shots that he takes, and then he goes to the tunnel, and he throws that ball, and he's just a kid having fun. I mean, that's what I used to do. And I'm no good. Who didn't go out and throw half court, full court shots just to see if you could make one? You know,
Only the Harlem Globetrotters.
Steph's mastered the thing where he shoots a 3/4 shot. He's thinking he's got a really good shot of making it. Yeah. It's not just like, oh, just throw it up there and see a prayer. No, he's like literally has a decent shot. That's why he's made so many of them.
I think he's an alien. I mean, he's not from this planet. He's not, man. I mean,
Frank, will his 3-point record, no one's ever going to do 4,000 again in our lifetime. Never. Right?
Harden could, but it's doubtful.
He's still 1,000 away.
He's 1,000 away.
He's 3,100. Isn't he at 3,100?
Steph is going to make 5,000.
I think Steph is going to make 5,000 too. And I think Steph.
That'll be a record like Wilt 100. They'll never be broken.
It'll take him 3.5 seasons, I think, Steph. Because what's he get, about 300 a year? He did get 400 one year.
Yeah. He's getting about 250 to 300 a year.
Let me see what he's got.
This year's not over. You know, they count playoff threes also. So they have a deep run.
No, they don't count playoff threes.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, they got 17 games left. You know, he'll get another
at least get another 50, yeah.
Steph has made, well, it's telling me his 3-point percentage, but
4,003 is what he's made.
Yeah, I just want to see what he's what he's made total this year.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I'm trying to see where. Okay, here. No, it's just going to give me percentage. Come on, I want to know how many he made. It's not showing me on this. I got ESPN's not showing. Does anybody know how many 3-point shots Steph has actually made this year? Because he's averaging isn't he averaging about 4 made a game?
Yeah. Yep.
So that should put him at about 300 every year. If he plays 70 games times 4 is 280. If he makes 4-point whatever, he's going to play roughly about 70 games a season. So he would have to do 4.28.
He's made 200. Yeah. He's made 253 this year before tonight.
Oh, he's going to go. And how many games left? They have 15.
17.
No, 15. Right, left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. 15.
So if he plays in 14 of them, and makes 4 a game. Wait, how many games has he played, Lou?
Probably 55, 56.
Yeah, I'm not sure because he sat out some. I mean, because this year he's 253 for 636. Last year he made 357. So
357. So he's probably,
but he's still shooting 39.8%, and he's shooting 40%. And probably half of his 3-pointers aren't just basically wide open 3-pointers.
He's definitely going to, if he stays healthy, he's going over 300. He plays in 14 games and just averages 4 a game. That's 56 plus 253. That's 309.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably going to go over 4. You know how Steph does? Sometimes he'll only hit 2 or 3, but another game he'll hit 7 or 8. So he's probably – he's at 262, Mark says. Probably after tonight. Or Mark says 262.
Last 2 games. All right, I'm looking right now on ESPN. Maybe they're a game behind. Sorry.
Okay. So, yeah, he's going over 300. So, and that'll put him probably by the end of the year close to 4,100. So he could do it in 3 years.
Yeah, he will.
5,000. Yeah. Wow.
Nobody's making 5,000 threes.
Just to be healthy to play that long.
Yeah, listen, his endurance, his legacy. This was his dad. This was his dad's last year, and he was limping to the finish line. Stephen Curry looks like he's 31.
Yeah.
I mean, he has another. Listen, Stephen Curry, I believe, is going to play in the Olympics in Los Angeles, and I think
Really?
KD's going. Yeah, I do. I think KD's going to play. It wouldn't surprise me if LeBron played
At
in
43?
Yes.
I mean, it's next
Why not?
July. It's not that far away. It's a year and a half away. Next
Why not?
July.
Oh,
is the Olympics.
it's in 26?
That's correct.
Why?
Sir. In LA.
Why in 26? Because they skipped
No, I thought it was 28. Isn't it 28?
It's 28.
Oh, yeah, 28. Sorry. The World Cup is 2026. I got a
Yeah.
list. I can't read without my glasses.
28. LeBron's going to be like 43.
Look at him now.
He lives in LA. He can just come right out of his home, get a limo, and go right to the facility.
I mean, when you look at LeBron right now, there are no indicators that he's diminished. This is one of his best years ever. This is one of his top 10 years in terms of production. I mean, listen, to me, I was like, wow. When I look at the Lakers now, he's the best player on the team. He's better than Luka. To me.
Yeah.
You can say, you can tell me that Luka is more talented. No. When I look at how they play and how his teammates respond to him and Luka, they really respond to LeBron. And they're far more deferential to LeBron than they are Luka. I don't take anything away from Luka. Luka's great. And can Luka carry the lead? Absolutely. But LeBron does more stuff on the court.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more stuff on the court.
Yeah. Wow. Well, guys, it's Saturday night and it's coming up on 9 o'clock. So still a lot left in the evening to go watch a good movie or some tournament games. There's still a few tournament games going on, right, Lou? In the
but these are really nobody. Tomorrow the bracket comes out at 3:00 our time.
Okay. And
that should be
or if you guys want to, you guys can see Division I state title. Reardon tonight goes for it all. They're 32-1, and LeBron's son played earlier. I hadn't seen the total. He was actually up in Sacramento at the game.
Was is that Reardon game on television?
I don't know. I just know it's tonight.
What time?
I mean, I saw Reardon play, and they have three guys that are all Division I. One guy's going to Texas Tech. Another guy's playing at UTEP. I mean, they're good. They're really good. They beat SI by 40, and it could have been 80.
Hey, Lou, guess what?
Yes, sir.
One of my best moments of the year. I went to that game last Saturday night at Reardon when Reardon against Salesian.
Oh, Salesian. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, and you're right, because I'm a natural talent evaluator. They got a 6'8", 6'9" kid who's a junior, who's definitely a D1 player. But the best player that Lou's talking about, his name is Jasir Rincher. They say he's 6'6". He looks about 6'5" with really long arms.
But he's so smooth.
He's going to Texas A&M, not Texas Tech.
It's Texas A&M, not Texas Tech. Yeah. Sorry, Texas A&M, yeah. But how smooth is he? I mean,
no. He's solid. I mean, he's going to play for Buzz. He is the perfect player for Texas A&M. I was like, wow. And they got a junior point guard who's about 6'1", 6'2", who's also a high-level D1 prospect. So the atmosphere was incredible. I didn't realize Reardon's gym was as nice as it is.
Yeah, they redid it about 5 years ago. They needed to.
Reardon's gym looks like a mini Palestra. One of my great moments was playing in Philly at the Palestra. They just have double headers on Saturday afternoon. And I remember I played Villanova Temple was the first game with John Chain. Yeah, and I think Raleigh Massimino might have been the coach. I don't know. And then
Temple Owls.
And then we played LaSalle after that. And you're talking about like somebody's backyard / living room. That's the Palestra. 7,000-8,000 fans right on top of you. Great memory, man. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I like Bryce James. Bryce James is a good player. He's really good.
Let me ask you guys this, because it's been a long time. I mean, it's been since my days of high school. But if you go to because we played at Cal, we would go play at Cal for, whether some type of playoff or NorCal, whatever, regional, whatever it was. But we went from our high school gym to the Cal, and it was such a bigger court.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to an NBA court, and it's even bigger.
Yep.
Is high school still have? I just wonder if I just had a small gym and they had to make the court smaller. Is there a regulation in high school gyms, or are they that much smaller than the?
Yeah, they're
than
smaller.
NCAA?
They are smaller.
They have. Why haven't they increased them a little bit? Is it because of?
Well, a lot of places have a boys' gym and a girls' gym.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah.
Yeah. So like SI didn't have that until literally, probably 8 years ago. And a lot of times when SI would go to a thing called the CCS, which was the next round after your league played, they would play at Kezar. Dan, I don't know if you ever played at Kezar Pavilion. Probably holds 5,200 at max. Maybe that's too many. And then when you go to the next thing, which should be like the state title, usually the home team best record gets to have a home game, but then they play. I remember when SI played manual arts. This is when I was a freshman, played manual arts, and they played at the Oakland Arena, and it was packed. So that's sort of how they go for the venues.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I just grew up in the wrong era. I could have been a great power forward today in today's
sure
world.
You could have. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I could have
been a great power forward.
I probably could have been a great center. I could have been a dominant player had I been in this era, because I could have just went over could have went to the girls' gym.
I understand what you're saying now, sir. Sorry, Dan. Good one. Oh, we should probably end it on that note.
Yeah.
But tonight, I think it's good because I know Reardon's playing a team called Roosevelt High. And I know one of the guys in the Southern Cal Championship had 37. I know he's a Division I guy too. I've heard of him. I'm not sure where he's going. So
on what team?
We'll see. Roosevelt High out of LA.
Oh yeah. Yep.
High school gyms are typically 10 feet shorter. Yeah, they're narrower too. It's everything. It's just weird,
Dan, I know you don't want to bring this up, but Reardon played De La Salle. They beat them by 12. They were up 28 at half. It wasn't even that close.
Wow.
It's just to tell you how Reardon, And then here's the kicker about Reardon. Reardon, of course, is in the WCAL. And a former guy who was a year behind me who went to SI, his name's Tim Reardon. Tim Reardon is the president and headmaster of Reardon High.
Oh, interesting.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I know he coached at SI all those years.
He coached baseball, and now he's the principal.
Coached basketball a little bit too.
Basketball too, partly.
Yeah, I coached against him.
Yeah,
Bill says the courts are the same width, 50 feet. It just seems smaller.
Well, they have regulation courts, and then they have courts that the schools make to their dimensions. So all
some of the gyms are smaller.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, I felt like looking back, my gym was, all those high school gyms pretty tiny. They're packed in there, right? It's just so, and especially the older ones, the older schools built in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah,
they're just, they didn't build, it's just like everything built back then. Today, you make a freeway 2-3 lanes. Now you need 8, it's like everything's crazy.
And Dan, here's the kicker, just so you know, from the end line to the free throw line and the rim are all the same size. Probably the greatest scene ever in Hoosiers is they played at Butler University. Their place where they played at maybe held 450 people. Butler, which is huge. It's, I think 13-8. The first thing they did is they took out a measuring tape and said, hey, from the floor to the rim, how tall is it? And the guy said 10 feet. He goes, all right, from below the rim to the free throw line, how far is it? 18 to, so as you see, these dimensions are just like our gym back at whatever they were called, the school. So it's
interesting.
It's funny.
You know what, fellas? I just want to share this with you today. I coach a girls team, right? And kind of had like a Hoosier moment today because I'm coaching a team that's primarily like 11, 12-year-old girls, but I have one girl who's really, really good. But because they're young, a lot of them are sixth graders, and I got like one veteran, they struggle with their skill. So we got down big. We got down like 18-4 at halftime, right? So we come all the way back, and I called timeout, and I said, ladies, what I want you to do right now, I want you to close your eyes and visualize how it's going to feel when you're celebrating after a win. That's what I want you to do right now. And we all got all excited, right? Now, the reality is we got to within 1 point, and we could never get over the hill.
Yeah,
and we lost the game 34-30. But we're in the playoffs. But it was the connectedness and the collaboration of these ladies that allowed them to come all the way back from being down 4-18 at halftime. My best player, she emotionally sometimes gets down on herself. She's an incredible player, going to be a highly coveted high school young lady. She goes, Coach, take me out. I need a rest. I looked at her. I said, you know what? Good players don't come out. I'm not taking you out. Go out there. Believe in yourself. I said, I don't care if you miss the next 15 shots because she wasn't making any shots. I said, go out there and play. Second half, she had 20 points. Because,
wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I was thinking about Hoosiers because
That's awesome.
that inspiration and that encouragement by your coach is so important, man. It's awesome.
Good old Hoosiers with Gene Hackman. Yes, I did, Hiroku. I saw Hoosiers. Okay. Let me ask you this, guys, getting out of here.
All right.
Sports has a history of dimensions. With football, it's a 100-yard field. 10 yards, first down, right? Everything. With baseball, the pitching mound to the home plate is 60 feet, 6 inches. With basketball, it's a 10-foot high hoop, 15 feet from the free throw line, and the three-point line, they've kind of messed a little bit with. If any sport changes any of the dimensions, for example, there's been talk about someday maybe pitching, they move it back to 61 feet, 6 inches to cut down on all the strikeouts because all these pitchers are now throwing at 98 to 100 when, the game was played even in 30 years ago, they were throwing low 90s, right? So guys can't hit a fastball at 99 consistently. And so the game's gotten boring in many cases because people. So what sport, if there is a change to any of them, do you think, who makes the moves and what would that move be, if any?
I don't think any sport changes. Because I could baseball logically I think makes the most sense, but I don't think they're going to do it because, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I was watching a video of Barry Bonds. He was on All the Smoke.
Right? Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And Barry Bonds was like, if I was playing now and I'm in shape, I hit 100 miles an hour fastball like it's nothing. So, I think, listen, the 100 mile an hour fastball, Dan, doesn't appear to be stopping Shohani. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more, I don't want to say it's a talent deal, but I believe in, the evolution of talent, both pitching talent and guys who can hit home runs. I just think they're going to evolve. So I don't think it's going to change. I think if the mound was higher, then they would lower the mound. But beyond that, I think they're going to keep it. Such a beautiful game. I wouldn't change it. With regard to the NBA, stylistically, the NBA changes over decades. So once again, I think when something goes too far to the left, I think the evolution of the game changes as opposed to the dimension.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I got to say hello to Kyle and Mrs. McKiernan watching on the big screen. All right. We got a comment
I think the
up
only
here.
thing the NBA really changed was the 3-point line, Frank. Really,
Right.
when you really think about it in the last 10 years, that's it.
Yeah.
NFL goalposts, they moved those. Mark Graves brings that up. Yeah. Hey, that was nuts. Can you imagine playing with the goalpost just like 2 yards behind the
That was
goal
insane.
line? That's insane running. I mean, just get killed.
How many necks got broke? I mean, give me a break. I mean, I can't imagine them even playing like that. And listen, in the CFL, they still play like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and only 3 downs.
Oh my
instead
God.
of 4.
Well, I've always wondered, you see, some teams, I mean, the NFL adopted the rule change last year with a kickoff to be more like whatever that league was. I don't know if it was the USFL. I can't remember. There's so many different football leagues, but they tried to make it more exciting. And the way if you want to make it more exciting for kickoffs, then move the kicker back 10 yards. Forget, they're all kicking them out of the end zone. So
that was a dud.
That was a dud. They got to move the kicker back because all the kickers did was just kick it out of the end zone, and there was no kickoffs.
It was less annoying by the end of the year because we were kind of used to it.
Right.
But it's like, you know what? This is not a good idea. Change
the athletes. Back. Yeah, the athletes are just better. Because, I mean, growing up, how many times was, oh, my God, someone kicked 50 yards? Now guys are kicking 50 yards like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Before,
50 yards
we were so desperate, we had to have a special tee. Now they don't even use a tee, and they still make it. So
I use that tee kicking. I had that nice little tee kicking off the ground is when you go from kicking off a tee to kicking off the ground, huge. In fact, they used to allow it in college, and college kickers would come to the pros. And I was always amazed because if you got the tee, they had a 1-inch tee and like a 2-inch. I mean, you just got the ball up in the air so much quicker.
Yeah.
The way they kick off the ground now, you have to basically kick it, the lower half. And if you go too low, you don't get any distance. It's just going to go. You got to kick it just in the right sweet spot.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
As we start to wrap it up with regards to football, I want to ask you guys a question.
Sure, go ahead.
The narrative in this market in Northern California throughout the football season, in the postseason, that the 49ers were not in, is that the 49ers had a bunch of bums. That was a narrative. They can't play. They're past their prime. We got to get better. But look at all of the money that the other teams are paying former 49er players. So that started me thinking, are they really that bad? Or schematically, were they not put in the right position? But think about the number of guys who played for the 49ers last year who got paid big money.
Yeah.
And even people talking about trading for Ayuk. You know what I'm saying? Are you kidding me? So that's something to keep your eye on, how well these guys play with their other teams, because quite a few 49ers got paid. In the offseason.
Banks got paid. Hufanga got paid. Greenlaw got paid. The backup tackle got paid by the Chiefs to go be their starting left tackle.
Right.
Maybe they're recognizing some of the talent. I'm not sure what's going on, but the 49ers lost 11, including Kyle Juszczyk. Now it's back down to 10 because Kyle Juszczyk signed today back with the 49ers. So, Dan, give Moody some competition this year. Yeah. Not anymore. This old body, his hips are not good anymore. But we'll see. I kind of think the Niners did the right thing in letting a lot of these guys go because I don't think they lost anybody really significant. Oh, yeah, they traded Jordan Mason today, too, to the Vikings for a 6th-round draft pick. I would have thought you could have got a 5th for Mason.
Wow. They must sell somebody in the draft they really like.
There's people they like, and they're just they're streamlining this. They're doing they're doing exactly what the Rams did a couple years
After
ago.
their Super Bowl year.
After
Where
their
they
Super
paid
Bowl year
everybody,
in
now they got
21,
a depth.
they ran it back like the Niners did, and they went 5-11 or 5-12 or whatever it was. I can't remember if they played 16 or 17 back in the 22 season. Then they revamped after the 22 season, but they made the playoffs in 23 and 24. Right now, the Rams look like the team to beat going forward.
Yeah, they are. I think Greenlaw is a big loss. I do.
I do too.
Because, going on the premise that he's healthy, he's not only a good player, but he put the fear in the opposition. They don't have anybody on their roster from a defensive perspective who put fear in the opposition. Maybe they're going to draft that guy. Fred Warner is a guy who does his job extremely well. But teams are not afraid of Fred Warner. They respect him. They were afraid of Greenlaw. Greenlaw is a guy who you have to be aware of because he knocked your block off. And I think Sean Payton recognized that, we're pretty good. We need somebody out there who's going to take us to the next level. But going on the premise that Greenlaw is healthy, wow.
What do you guys think of the signing back of Juszczyk? I was kind of like thinking that he was gone. And it's like, hey, guy's 32. You can't find a young stud to take that position.
I'm glad he's back. Because
I think there's a lot of pressure on the Warriors. Three things.
Warriors
the
or
Brock Purdy
Niners?
situation. The Niners. The Niners. The Brock Purdy situation. What do you want to pay him? What is he really worth? Because of the cap, that's why you have to do something significant. Second of all, except for maybe Seattle taking a step down, as Frank said the other day, Arizona is going to be better. The Rams are going to be better. And nobody's really talking about this, but I think there's a lot of pressure since the Super Bowl is here this year. The Niners, where they have the last, fourth place schedule, the pressure, hey, they want to play at home, all this stuff, and I think it's really a year where the Niners really have to do something because, the pressure of the Warriors is one thing to get, back to another title, but the Niners is like, because it's football, is just probably 3 times worse, where, hey, maybe we do have a coach that can't win the big one. Hey, maybe we do have a GM that doesn't know what he's doing. I think this year is a big year for the Niners.
It really is.
It's not going to be easy either because.
Interesting take. I forgot about the Super Bowl being here because a lot of people, when they saw the Super Bowl was here and the way the team was made up, they thought, we're going to have another Rams winning the Super Bowl on their home field type thing. They'll be lucky to get in the playoffs the way they're going right now, but you never know how things could go. The Purdy thing, I've said it on this show before, and I'll say it again. I'm not paying him $50+ million. What I am doing, because look, the Niners hold the cards here. They can make Purdy play on $5 million this year. And then they can franchise him for 2 more seasons. That totals about $99 million, roughly, I heard. So in 3 years, they can keep him and pay him an average salary of $33 million a year. Now, I wouldn't do that to Brock. I would say, look, we can do this, but we believe in you and we want to have a good faith. We're willing to give you 4 years at $45 million a year. That's $180, but we're guaranteeing you $120.
That's fair.
I think that's fair because you're keeping the salary down for the team at 45, and heck, you could pay some of it in a bonus that keeps it even further down, where the cap hit is less. And is that your siren, Lou? Your mute button, Lou.
I'm muted.
You're not hooked up on your mic.
What do you mean? You couldn't hear that?
I heard it. The whole
that
siren.
was 2 blocks away. I know. And then I put the mute on when it went by.
All the thousands of people heard that, Lou.
I don't think your mute. Put your mute on and talk. I don't think your mute's working.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes. We can hear you.
You're not on your mic. You need to go to settings and check your settings and put audio, and then
maybe
it'll tell you.
Maybe it's when you screwed your system up. Now it's affecting all ours, Dan, from the other night.
I figured out my problem the other night. Yeah, I was on the other night. My wife called me from the Philippines, and I put my mic on mute, but I wasn't muted. Good thing I didn't say anything dirty to her.
That's right.
Oh, gosh. But anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Niners end up doing. But I think that's a fair deal. And I don't know if the Niners are thinking that way. But I think if they pay Purdy $55 million a year and the cap hit is that high, or however that works, I think it's a mistake. And I think it holds them back from adding some better players. At 45, you're still, I mean, that's paying a guy that was the last pick of the draft. Yes, he's done well, but he's also, when the weapons haven't been in there, he's really hasn't been able to take the team on his back like a $55, $60 million quarterback should. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah, there's only 3 quarterbacks, maybe 4, that even deserve money over $50 million. And we all know who those 4 are. Those other people should be 35 at most. You know, and he's making 890 this year. It's a pretty nice bump going up.
45 million?
Then,
that's huge.
From $1 million,
and that's generational wealth.
Yep.
And you know what? If you pay him $45 million a year and you're giving him $120 million, and he's entering in the 3rd year, and he's taking you and he's in one of those 3 years, he's won the Super Bowl for you.
You can always renegotiate
the deal. Exactly. You bump it up then. There's no need to give in now.
Let me say something about there's a gentleman, Philip Coppola, and he said nothing personal, but he thinks they should have moved on from Juice. And I get it from a talent perspective. But when you have a leadership drain like the 49ers had, you need to look inside the locker room. When things are going good, players rally, they sacrifice. When things are going bad, it gets ugly. You need to have people in your locker room who have history, who people respect. And it's not all about what they do on the football field. That's important. But look at his salary. It's signed up for 2 years for $8 million. What is the price? $6 million guaranteed?
Seven guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So that's why he's back. He's back because they probably view the guy as a future general manager or something. Future president of the team. So
could be. He's pretty smart. He's a Harvard guy, isn't he? Isn't he a Harvard guy?
Yeah, he's a Harvard guy. I mean, his value is not tied directly to his production on the football field. And, you have to, meticulously look at those situations because you don't evaluate everybody the same. This guy brings more to the team than just what he's doing on the football field.
That's to make some good points, Frank. Hadn't thought about that because a guy that is a Harvard grad, you probably want a guy like that in your front office somewhere. And maybe he's smart enough. If he went to Harvard, John Lynch went to Stanford, maybe John Lynch steps down at some point and then Kyle Juszczyk comes into that role, or maybe he becomes John Lynch's assistant for 2 years and then he takes over the role.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to lose that guy. And he's he's a team guy, man. He is. Team guy.
He is a locker room. Yeah, people love him. And he's great. He's best friends with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. You don't want to lose him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, guys, great points. We will be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow night we'll be back, 8:00. We'll be back with the Hot Corner Show. We'll team up with Giant Sports Talk Live, and we will be talking. We'll probably just discuss the Giants split squad game tomorrow rather than come up with some crazy topic. We'll talk about the Giants 2 games tomorrow night at 8:00, and then we'll break down what we see as the rosters or how the rosters are going to be put out. They've already announced their starting lineup. And yes, everyone, Mike Yastrzemski is back in the lineup. So There you go.
Opening day right around the corner. I don't know if you guys
it's-
saw it. Otani, they had a game against the Yamamata Giants. Second pitch, he hit a bomb.
Oh, really?
At the Tokyo Dome. It was amazing how it was. Just
Lou,
I got to check that out.
Lou,
Yeah.
you opened up like a wide door with me the other night, because I would love to get together with you guys at a baseball game this summer at some point and go out and get a meal, man.
Yeah.
I would.
I have seats right next to the Giants dugout.
Okay.
Literally, when I bring girls, the ball players throw balls with their phone numbers and where they're staying. It's
all right.
no, yeah.
At some point this summer we'll get together.
I have a lot of Monday, Tuesday, or Friday night games. It depends. Once your your hoop schedule is done, we'll set up a plan and we'll try to get Dan out here. If not, it'll just be you and me, Frank.
Sounds great.
I'll come
Not
up.
a problem, bud.
I'll come up for that. You know what? Frank and I'll come up and we'll go to the Cheesecake Factory for dinner on Lou.
If we can get in before the game, no problem.
There you go, fellas. All right, gentlemen. Take care.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you. It was
Thanks so
awesome.
much. Hey, guys, don't forget to check out Frank's show. If you haven't already been there, go over there and subscribe. It's called In the Dungeon. You can see it right behind you. The spelling E-N and T-H-A, Dungeon, no spaces.
Dungeon show. Yes.
Give it's just like this, but no spaces. No spaces in there. I just spaced it out so everyone could see it. So check out that show, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. Take care, everybody.